The horror show at Extreme Rules. Oh, I guess that's the title for this pay per view. This first was Extreme Rules, the horror show. And I tell you what, if they don't pull this pay per view off, it's going to definitely be a horror show. It's going to be one of the most frightening, scariest pay per views because it was so awful. You got 6 matches that I see, and I'm going to run them down from the least important match, I guess you can say, to the important match. I guess the opening card match or whatever the kickoff show match is up into the main event. I mean, that's to be seen because they've been you know featuring the women in the main events more than not. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go match for match, and there could be some matches added later, but it's Friday now, 2 more days left. But you know how it is with WWE. They could, especially that senile old man, Vince McMahon, who will change it at the last minute. Add a match, remove a match, add a stipulation, last minute. So let's pop it off. Let's talk about it. First match I'm going to talk about is Apollo Crews versus MVP for the United States Championship. Both men have a title. Both men claiming that their title is the United States Championship. Gotta admit, MVP's title is pops off more, kind of good eye candy for people to see that it's very colorful and it's different. But just because you make a title, create a title for yourself, doesn't make you the champ. I mean, AEW did that very thing with the FTW Fuck the World title that they give to Brian Cage. Doesn't make him the champion. This doesn't make MVP the champion. And I think he's what's the whole thing they say? They put the cart before the horse, kind of thing. What do I think that's going to happen? It's going to be. We've seen this match before. They've gone, head to head before. MVP got a pin on Apollo Crews, hence him getting a shot at the title. But I feel that if these guys are going to make Hurt Business more successful, make them legit, MVP has to beat Apollo Crews. Now, I feel like there's going to be some interference, of course. It's going to cause Apollo Crews to drop the title. And it's going to happen by way of Shelton Benjamin. Shelton Benjamin is going to factor in, and he's going to cause Apollo Crews to lose the title. And I have a feeling that Apollo Crews is going to approach MVP afterwards, maybe on Raw, and he's going to join the Hurt Business, or he's going to tag with either Ricochet or Cedric Alexander on Raw, and he'll turn on them and become a member of the Hurt Business, or Cedric Alexander will do that. Maybe Cedric will be the one to come in and cause Apollo Crews to lose. Cedric Alexander hasn't done nothing. Ever since becoming the Cruiserweight champion, he has never done anything after that. Obviously, it's a time for him to turn heel and be able to show that side of him and join the Hurt Business. And, because as much as I like Apollo Crews, I think that you can't hold him to the United States title long, because then it'll start to stale, and it'll start to get on people's nerves. Like that all he can do. I'm not saying that he's gonna be in line for a WWE title shot, maybe a tag team title. Maybe he could join the Hurt Business and kind of ride along with that for a while, kind of keep him in, you know, keep him, busy, on the main roster, keep him on TV. But in the end, I'm predicting MVP will beat Apollo Crews for the U.S. Championship. Now let's go to the next one, and that is Bayley versus Nikki Cross. Bayley is going to hold on to the title because these guys, WWE, have a hard on for double champions right now. So I think she is going to maintain her double title ship. I don't know if that's a word. She's going to beat Nikki Cross. As much as I hate saying that because I love Nikki Cross, I think she's crazy, funny, insane, and that's why I love her. But it's not going to be her time, and Bayley's still going to hold on to the title. And, that's going to give Sasha even more of an incentive to want to become a double champ herself. But I'm not going to go to the match yet with Sasha and Asuka. But like I said, Bayley is going to retain. And let's see. Yeah, I think Sasha will interject herself in another distraction type of a deal, and she's going to win. Bayley will retain the title. Now let's go to the Wyatt Swamp Fight. This has a lot of history. We all know the history between Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt. Braun Strowman is the one that was brought to WWE by Bray Wyatt. Him coming fresh off of his stint as one of Adam Rose's Rosebuds. If you go back and watch some of his entrances, you'll see big old Braun jumping around like a fool. Good thing he left that. They gave him, a bit rocky, type of run for him. But he's been maintained a steady ship, being the Universal Champion. And we saw him get brought to WWE by Bray Wyatt, known as the Black Sheep. He had the Black Sheep mask on, very imposing. When people saw him, they said, "Holy sh!" You know what I mean? They were like, "Who's this dude? This big mother effer." And he pretty much took care of business. What was that one time he was calling himself the new? What was that? The new? Because you know how Kane is the big red machine. What was it that they called him? He kind of took the moniker away from Kane, or developed himself into the new monster of WWE, something like that. And he was running roughshod, causing all kinds of hell. Then he eventually broke off from Bray and was establishing himself as a power to be force to be reckoned with. He was doing all kinds of strongman stuff and destroying everything, destroying everyone. And eventually, we all felt that one day they're going to come together, either reunite or they're going to do battle. And then it gets to this point where Braun Strowman says he wants to take it back to where it all began. What better way than to go back to the Wyatt compound and have a swamp fight? This looks like it's going to be a cinematic film, a cinematic match. I don't know if they're going to try to capture the magic of AJ Styles and Undertaker. I don't know if anybody's going to ever do that. That's once in a lifetime thing. But we'll see what happens. It's for the Universal title. I guess it is. Is it? But I just see a lot of course, we're going to see a lot of visual, horror stuff, visual, effects and things happening, and mind games by Braun. And I honestly will say this, that I feel that Braun will come out on top, and then he will now pretty much put Bray in the back, the rear view, and he will move on to whomever else. But I predict that Braun will retain the title. That is, if the title is on the line. I mean, have they already been mentioning it that it's for the Universal title, or is it just a grudge match, a type of match that they're just going to go at it and there's nothing on the line? But if it's for the title, Braun will retain. Either way, he's going to win the match because they need to make him look strong. I think Bray has taken so many losses. His win-loss record is so up and down. No one's going to care if he loses or not. Unfortunately, that's unfortunate because of how big his character is and how great his character is, really. But they have not done anything for him. The Fiend is not going to show up. It's going to be the old Bray Wyatt. The Waylon Mercy inspired look of Bray Wyatt. So that's that with that match. And like I said, Braun Strowman will win the match. Okay, let's go to Asuka versus Sasha Banks. Have you ever noticed recently how it seems like there's no more side looking, Sasha looking out the side of her eye or looking down whenever, in a match, you never see Sasha Banks doing what she used to do before, where there's a possibility that she feels that she's being held back and looking at Bayley in a sideways look, and stuff. It's almost like they forgot that, like they're forgetting slowly but surely they're going away from the possible feud between Bayley and Sasha. I think it's because all of us are asking for it, and WWE is like, well, you want it, we ain't giving it to you. So we're gonna slowly go away from it and slowly, let it go off into the sunset, off into the distance, so that everybody's gonna forget. And I don't think that whatever the outcome is not going to change anything. There'll still be, the who are they? The golden role models. They're still going to be the golden role models. And even after what happens with the Sasha Banks Asuka match, which I feel like Sasha is going to come up short. Why? It's because Asuka is just too much of she's on too much of a role right now. I think WWE's making up for the fact that they kind of, effed her up. They kind of messed up her thing of being undefeated and not letting it go a little bit longer. Yeah, it would have gotten stale. It would have gotten annoying after a while for still being undefeated. You can see how the quality of her matches weren't really that great because it's like when she was trying to, even in the mixed match challenge with Miz as her partner, she would always be yelling at Miz, "Don't lose, my record, my record." It must have been like stressful to her, and it must have been like probably a daunting task for the creative team. Like, how are they going to keep her from being, defeated? And then they figured, hey, we'll give it to Charlotte because Charlotte was their rising star and she's the one that they wanted to build up. So what better way than to have her, be Asuka. But I think that they're trying to rebuild her up again. And a lot of people are still on the fence about how she won the title. That people are saying that she got it handed to him. It's like, she didn't have it handed to her. Yeah, Becky handed it to her. But she earned it by winning Money in the Bank. They just didn't know, that it was for the Raw Women's title. So people are saying that she was handed the title and that it's asterisk on her title. Like, who's that idiot that said that? Again, JBL or Booker T said that during the what was the last pay-per-view? Backlash. A couple of idiots. Like, really? But in the end, Asuka will retain her title, and it may start. Maybe that's when it's going to start for real. That Sasha's going to start feeling like, what the hell's going on. getting frustrated here. I'm not winning. I'm not a double champion like Bayley. So maybe that'll start it. I've said that so many times. A lot of us have said it so many times. We're getting to the point where it doesn't really matter anymore. But yeah, that's my prediction for that match, that Asuka will retain. Now let's go to the Rey Mysterio versus Seth Rollins eye for an eye match, where the match can only be won when one competitor extracts an eye of their opponent. Like I said on my last, when I last talked about it, was on my Raw review, on my Raw thoughts on Raw. It's like, you can't do that. You can't pull that off in a real, regular match. This is going to probably be a cinematic match. And it probably will look cool to see an eye actually being extracted out of either one of the opponents, right? But they're not going to do that during a real match. Like I said, what's going to happen is, I already said this on my last, I talked about this match on Raw. Rey's going to win. Because I think what's going to happen is Seth is going to have his eye extracted, and then he's either going to show up on Raw for the next few months with an eye patch, or maybe that it's going to be so gruesome and so bad that he's going to have like a, where Seth ends up leaving the WWE for a while because he's so traumatized that his eye was ripped out. And so that storyline, he's gonna be away for a while, and he's gonna end up, in real life, Colby Lopez, who plays Seth Rollins, is gonna be with Becky. And he's gonna be there for her, and then they're going to wait for their baby to be born, and then he's gonna come back a few months after that. Like I said, he'll come back, and hopefully he's gonna be like, hopefully they won't remember that I had my eye extracted. He's gonna come back, no patch on, no nothing on, So it's like they're going for that, where we're not gonna, that's what we're gonna be seeing. Like didn't he have an eye patch on? Didn't he have his eye ripped out? And then now he doesn't have he has two eyes, completely intact, and there's nothing there, Like WWE just always relies on the fact that if they're gone for a long time, we won't remember. That was way back in, a few months ago. So it won't matter. I don't know. So like I said, Rey Mysterio versus Seth Rollins, the eye for an eye match. Eye for an eye match. I said it right. Rey is going to win. And Seth will go away for some time after, baby's born, and then he's gonna come back. And I don't know if he's gonna resume something with Rey, maybe with Dominic. Is he gonna still have his faction, Murphy and Austin Theory, wherever he's at. I hear that he got taken off because of his involvement with BLM and all that, something like that. That I was told. I still didn't understand that. I don't understand why that would happen to him, but whatever. How WWE is, there's just no understanding what they do. I don't know why they do stuff that they do. Why they, keep somebody on the main roster. Why they hold them down. Why they fire them. Why they send them back to NXT. Why they do this. Why they do. Never know. Austin Theory needs to be on NXT. He needs to be there or be in 205 Live, or I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he weighs more than the 205 Live guys. I don't know, but I haven't seen him. And he was a kind of a welcome addition to Seth Rollins' group, but he hasn't been around, and that's that. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is Drew McIntyre versus Dolph Ziggler. Don't know what the stipulation is. I hear it's going to be a TLC match. You know, is that what that's what I heard? Yeah, I think that's what I heard. But Extreme Rules. Well, yeah, tables, ladders and chairs and stairs and ice picks and ring posts, and announcers' desks. Could you include any of those things. But when you say Extreme Rules, I understand that stuff is added. It's like that, but it's like they had TLC, then they have TLC, then they have Extreme Rules. It's the same thing. It's just that the names are different. But in this match, Dolph Ziggler has no choice. Yeah, I mean, has no chance. Like I said in one of my last reviews, he has no chance. Dolph Ziggler is a jobber. He is a journeyman. He is someone who is like for baseball, like the utility player. You know what I mean? He's a guy that they bring in, when they need, someone who's going to take over for somebody or take someone's place, or when they need a good hitter to hit, and they bring that person in. Dolph Ziggler, he's a guy that makes people look good. He's not anyone to be taken seriously. He can do his whole shtick of talking loud and being braggadocious and all that stuff, and it's just like, who cares? Like I said, he needs a new scenery. He needs to leave WWE, or they really need to seriously push the guy. Stop putting him in these positions, and then we know what's going to happen. Like with Dominik Dijakovic and Keith Lee. Dominik Dijakovic was going to win both titles this past Wednesday on NXT. No. So why do we think that Dolph is going to win? Drew McIntyre is too much of a strong presence in the WWE right now. He's definitely the guy that they're looking at to replace John Cena, to be the face of WWE. And he has the charisma, he has the look, the physique, he has the skill set, he has the dominance of a champion that they want, face that they want in WWE. Who are they going to go? There's no one else that they can look at. So they're going to keep the title on Drew. Is it going to be a good match? Who knows? But like I said, Dolph does bring out the best in people when he wrestles. I admit that. I'm not saying he's a shit wrestler. He's good. But the guy, if you put somebody in a position like with him, and he just constantly is just, okay, Dolph's there, he's just gonna make the guy look good. He's just there to, put the guy through his paces, and to push the guy, to do things that he would never do. I mean, that's what Dolph does. Drew McIntyre doesn't need that much pushing, but his more athletic side will come out going against Dolph. But like I said, in the end, Dolph Ziggler is going to lose. He's not going to win. He's not going to be WWE champion. I think the championships he has in the past, that's all the titles he's going to have. If he has another one, it'll be a U.S. title, Intercontinental title. We've seen that before. Tag team title, we've seen that before. Maybe he should go after the 24/7 title. Because he pops up every now and then. And go, oh, there's Dolph. Well, where has he been? Oh, he's been. Yeah. He had his thing with Otis. Speaking of Otis, where the hell is Otis at? He's Mr. Money in the Bank. He might show up in his people. Who knows? Maybe he will pop up at the Swamp Fight. Who knows? You don't know where Otis can be anywhere. He's not much of a loony guy, crazy dude. You know what I mean? But anyway, let's go over the matches that I said and the results. Apollo Crews will lose to MVP, and MVP will be the new U.S. title. U.S. champion, I should say. Rey Mysterio will retain. Well, not retain. He'll keep his eyes, and Seth Rollins will lose an eye in an eye for an eye match. Braun Strowman will defeat Bray Wyatt. Bayley will retain her title against Nikki Cross. Asuka will retain against Sasha Banks, and Drew McIntyre will remain your WWE champion and defeat Dolph Ziggler. But anyway, that was my video, my preview and predictions for the Horror Show at Extreme Rules. I think it's going to be a decent pay-per-view if they pull it off. I want to see what happens with that damn eye for an eye match. If they're gonna, if we're gonna see an eye be extracted. Cinematic style, it should be good. But realistically, it's BS. It's silly. It's dumb. Like, you can't do that in a real match. But a cinematic match, yeah, they can pull that off. But anyway, again, like I said, that's my video. And for those of you who stopped by and checked it out, I appreciate it. And in closing, and as always, take care. Please remember to subscribe, click like, and click the bell icon for all notifications on this channel.